Okay.
So fast you can run around the world and punch.
Okay. What is the difference between if I have f of x equals n to the x, okay? F of x equals n to the x minus k will do what?
That's the x minus k.
Oh, it'll move it.
No, you were about to say something.
To the right.
Move it to the right. This will be a counterintuitive. A counterintuitive.
You're not recording this, right?
Yes, we are.
You're spelling it incorrect.
Yes, I am.
It's
my mnemonic.
Doesn't the book do it the other way around?
This book does switch the k's and the h's, yes.
Horizontal is
Why?
Actually, I think the other use is more common, but I'm flashing back to my childhood when k's meant counterintuitive and h didn't.
No, horizontal is spelled right.
Why did
Thank you.
Mr. Singer, what was the thing he used? Imaginary number? Something to do with,
Okay. All right, thanks. So this will move. Now, here's the deal. For these graphs, okay, I almost always have to start with one of these. I've never in my life graphed an exponential graph without first starting with the basic one and then shifting the points. Last year, one thing I did was had you guys make two tables, I think, or tried to do that. On the final, some people were confused what the second table was for. If I was asked to graph this with a shift in it, I would start with this one to find the points. Okay? Does that make sense as an idea?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try that on the homework, and then tomorrow go into more detail if necessary. F of x equals, if f of x equals some number raised to a power, what happens if I just add a number outside of the exponent?
It's taller. It makes it.
It'll go
Up and down.
Vertical
Up or down. This will be,
a vertical shift.
yes, an intuitive,
Intuitive.
a hintuitive vertical shift. Stop the whistling. Okay, this will be what I call a hintuitive vertical shift. Here's the important part of this. Here's the important part, though I think most of you guys got this last year. Right now, the asymptote is the x-axis, which is the line y equals 0.
So if it's like nx plus 3, then the asymptote is 3.
Bingo. Jesse's got it. So y equals h is your new asymptote. So in addition to moving each point up 3 units, it also moves the asymptote up 3 units or down 3 units, depending on the value of h and the sign there. Now, if you start, pardon, and you can mix and match these. F of x equals some number raised. If I create a new function which has a number a times n to the x, what sort of shenanigans does a always get up to? It's kind of like slope. It's even weirder this way, though. A is less like slope on this than anything else we've looked at. What A does in this case is A is multiplied. You guys are ready for a new phrasing. A is multiplied by every y value of the original function, which was just n to the x. A is multiplied by every y value. If this passed through a y value of 1, it will now pass through a y value of 3. Everything gets 3 times further. Another way to think of this is everything gets 3 times further from the x-axis. Oh, and if a is less than 0, then, can't spell all of a sudden, the whole graph is upside down.
What?
That's a fun one. If a is less than 0, the whole graph is upside down. This means if a is negative, Jesse, then what happens is, instead of going up here, this graph will go down. Instead of passing through 0, 1, it'll pass through 0, negative 1. And instead of coming down towards the x-axis as we move to the right, it'll go up towards the x-axis. It will be reflected, in other words, about the x-axis.
But the x-axis will still be gas.
Yeah, unless I start mixing and matching with an h in there. For the homework tonight, actually, there are some mixes and matches. All the homework is finding some values on your calculator with some decimals, matching a graph, an exponential graph to another exponential graph, matching an exponential graph to equations, I should say, and then describing transformations in English. And that is all on page 206, 1 through 18. Page 206, 1 through 18, all. So you can check the odds in the back. Practice it, pay attention to it. Don't be like, oh, I remember this from last year, so I'm not going to do it, because we're going to move very quickly into new stuff. And tomorrow I will assume, based on your homework questions, after I answer a few homework questions, I will assume complete proficiency, start moving quickly to the next stuff. By the end of the week, I'm hoping to be poisoning people.
She's not filming it.
Maybe starting with salt.